Welcome to Life Talk with Mariette. I am Mariette. This show is about the life lessons that shape us, what I've learned, what I'm still learning, and how we grow through challenge, awareness, and purpose. I will share personal insights to motivate and inspire you, and sometimes invite guests who do the same. At its heart, Life Talk is about real stories, real growth, and meaningful connection. This is Life Talk with Mariette. Motivational, inspirational, full of heart. Enjoy the show. Hello and welcome to Life Talk with Mariette. I'm your host, Mariette Gammer. Today's topic is the rare breed. People who don't retire from life. How most people age and why I live differently. Because most people see retirement as the finish line. Work stops, life gets quieter, the goal becomes staying comfortable and busy. Many people are happy. They're happy that way, and that's fine. But some people don't retire from life itself. They still want a reason to get up. They still want to feel useful. They want to feel useful. They still want a task, not just things to do. That's what I mean by the rare breed. I want to share how I see aging for myself. That's very easy to answer. I don't age at all, and I will explain. And why I live differently. So I repeat, how I see aging for myself. I don't age at all. Mentally, emotionally. And why I live differently. The rare breed are people who don't retire from life even after work ends. You're tuned in to Life Talk with Mariette. I'm host Mariette Camera. Let's get started with segment 1. Health matters, but it's not everything. The body slows down, but the mind doesn't have to. When I talk to people this year, and especially over the holidays, many of them said the same thing. My health isn't good anymore. I want to say this very clearly. Health matters. Physical limits are real. Pain, fatigue, illness, chronic pain, those are all not ideas. Those are real. They shape what we can and cannot do. I get it. So this is not about pushing through. It's not about pretending we're younger than we really are. And it's not about ignoring the body. I listen to my body. But here's what I've noticed. I've met people with serious health issues. I talked with some of them, over the holidays, as I said, a whole slew of them. They were very sincere in what they stated. They stated it freely without me even asking. And not too long ago, they were still in the workforce. Now they're not. Now they belong to a club, sending some acknowledgments and little hearts back and forth. They just want to belong, nothing else. They want to tell their story. No friendship necessarily, just to tell their story. And I met about 2 of them that I really liked, and I commented on their story. And I told them, one lady had stage 4 cancer, and the other lady had a stroke. And so I shared my story. And they were very, very sincere, and I wouldn't have minded at all making friends with them. They were from all over the world, really. It was a club, a women's club, over 70. So, but I realized very quickly they really didn't want that friendship. They were in their own zone, and I wanted to respect that. Some had gone a distance with their illness, developing a coping mechanism. That's what I'm talking about. And they're still, some of them were still curious. Some have gone a distance, some were still in the process of coping with it. I just picked that up very quickly. I know when to back off. And again, I'm realizing that one of she, had gone a distance with her illness, but she was still curious. They still were asking questions and they still cared about what was happening around them, which was a good sign. And I didn't get into any depth with them. You want to respect people's privacy, especially they don't know you, I don't know them, and so forth. You know what I'm saying. And most of all, I've met people who are physically fine, but have already shut down inside. Those are the most people I have come across here, right where I live. And do not ask me why. I know they're fine. They're not interested in anything except their own little circle, which is so small to begin with. Maybe it consists of a brother and maybe a sister, and that's it. And they've always been like that. I gotten to know some of them a little closer. Now my cat has to sit right in, on my notes here. Excuse me. And they were like that all their life. They're happy with how you know, they never build a friendship. They moved along in life, and that was their style. And all of a sudden, they're 70, 80 years old. The time runs fast. So, and here I'm going to motivate them at their age, at age 75, that they should do something. Absolutely not. No, continue what you're doing. You're fine. But what I'm saying to you is there are people that have no health problems and they are shut down inside. That's what I want to point out. So health alone doesn't explain how we age. Now, for me, the difference is something I call inner movement. Inner movement means there is still interest, still engagement, still a reason to pay attention. When inner movement stops, the body often follows faster. That I would be very afraid of. That's why I see curiosity as form of self-care. And I think that's a very good way of looking at it. Being curious. No stress, no pressure. Curiosity. Curiosity keeps the mind flexible. It keeps emotions from shrinking. It keeps us connected to the world instead of withdrawing from it. Now, for myself, this is very clear. I listen to my body. For some of you that don't know me, have not seen any of our TV programs where I talked about having a stroke in 1996, having to learn to walk again, you better believe after I gained my strength back and my walking ability that I listen to my body. And I know when a pain is in my neck or in my little toe or in my kneecap. So that doesn't mean I panic. What that means is I listen. I will notice it and say, okay, that kneecap has been bothering me. Or that little toe, why is that little toe hurting? Or why is the neck pain there? Should I replace my pillows? Should I wear different shoes? Or is this just a little sign that it just goes away? And sometimes you have these aches and pains that they're just there for a few seconds or a minute or a half a day or whatever. They're just visitors. They're pains. I call them little visitors. And then you never hear from them again. But at least I listen to my body. And I have to tell you, we all went through this horrible time with COVID. I call it now horrible time, where we were forced to slow down. And some people still went to work, depending on what industry you were in. The health industry never slowed down. The food industry, there were several industries that never slowed down. Well, in my industry, we slowed down, and I ended up doing my radio programs from home. So, but I have to tell you, all of my preparation my um, me preparing in the morning, getting up, getting ready, looking the part, going out the door, went out the window. So I really have to tell you, after these 3 years, almost 3 years, 2.5 years, almost 3 years with me, I still have a hard time, having this spring in my step where makeup goes on, this, that, and the other, and nice clothing, and out the door you go. So that I haven't quite recuperated from. I noticed that, and I hate it. I really, really hate it. So it's a big deal now putting makeup on. It's a big deal now. Okay, dressing the part. That was never an issue before, but that's a remnant from the 3 years of not having to do that. You couldn't do it because where were you going to go? You know what I'm trying to say. So, where nobody is exempt of anything, and neither am I. So, what I'm going to say to you today, just listen to your body, and your body will dictate, will absolutely dictate. And some days, when I make a big deal out of, I only make a big deal going to the grocery store, make a big deal of it. So because I hate it and I have to do it, I don't have anybody to do it for me. And I don't want to order it and have them delivered. I don't want that. I need to look at everything. So that's what, it's all stupidity. It's just doesn't make any sense, but that's just one of my things here. So, and someday, boy, I have about 6 or 8 different things to handle. And I go 1, 2, 3, geographically, of course, and it gets done 1, 2, 3. And other days, I spread it out. Not because I'm tired, that the body is tired. My mind just can't grasp it. And it's too much. I don't want to be bothered. That's what it is. Where before it was part of my portfolio, I had to do it. There was no negotiation with myself. 1, 2, 3 got done. That's it. So now there's this big negotiation going on. That's what I'm trying to point out. But always I learned to listen to my body. So, what I also want to mention is when people leave work and have more time, this difference becomes even clearer. So I'm going to get into that in the next segment. So don't go away. We're going for a quick break, and we'll be right back. We're back from our break. I'm Mariette Kammer. You're tuned into LifeTalk with Mariette. Keeping busy versus having a task. And people who don't retire from life, I call them the rare breed. That's what I'm talking about today. So keeping busy versus having a task. Till I spelled it all out, it's not always very clear till you immerse yourself. So a task is something that matters to you. When work ends, many people suddenly have a lot of time, and that can be very unsettling. So people start looking for things to do, activities, committees, helping here and there. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. Let me point that out. But over time, I have noticed a difference. There is a difference between keeping busy and having a task. Keeping busy fills the hours. A task gives the hours a reason. Take my great friends at Whiskers. Some of the volunteers are retired, and this is an ongoing thing at the shelter, in the whole organization, because they constantly have a turnover in cats, bring cats in, this, that, and the other. So this is not something that you can do occasionally. No, no. It's an ongoing, it's an ongoing assignment. It's an ongoing task. So that has nothing to do with keeping busy fills the hours. Absolutely not. That task gives the hours a reason. That's what I'm talking about. A task is not something you do because you're bored. A task is something you care about, something that pulls you in, something you think about even when you're not doing it. Look at my work. Take a look at my work. Look how I have two TV programs. LifeTalk with Mariette, which is an hour, The Business Champion, which is half an hour. It's a constant turnover with topics and with new guests and just new ways of presenting a certain topic. I have to say, when as soon as you slow down, as soon as I slow down, like for instance now with the holidays, it becomes all of a sudden a task because you sit down, you design the whole thing, and then of course you have to produce it. But when you're in the flow of things, it just goes automatically. It's still the same amount of work. You don't feel it. It's just it gets done. The minute you slow down, I've noticed that about myself. Then all of a sudden it becomes a deal, a big deal. Um, it's it's amazing. It's just really amazing. So a task connects you to the world. It makes you feel useful, not in a big dramatic way, but in a real human way. So many people say, I don't need a task. I'm fine being busy. And that's okay. No, no, no. That's fine. That's fine for you. Don't worry about a thing. I'm not here to rank people. I'm not here to tell anyone how to live. Absolutely not. I'm just saying that for me, being busy is not enough. Being busy doesn't stimulate me. Look, I have to tell you something. I really have to tell you something. Um, Besides our work, our daily work, we have to run a household. We have to cook. We have to buy groceries. We have to wash clothes. We have to clean the house. All of this. So for all of these things, you gotta allocate time, and you gotta feel like it. So why would I want to take the vacuum cleaner out when I don't feel like it? Then the vacuum cleaner sits on the floor and in the hallway, and it sits there for 3 days, where it would take me less than 10 minutes just to do the whole thing. So take the grocery list. When I don't feel like it, when I don't have that spring in the step, it's a big deal. It becomes a big deal. Um, Look at when I go to the doctor. I swear to you, they must love the seniors. There are seniors that go to the doctor all the time. I'm not saying anything. I'm only talking about myself. So my doctor, and I love her, and my doctor, she always wants to sell me medication. Always. Look, I've been medication free for all my life. I started having some blood pressure because of my former weight. And she said, Mariette, if you lost weight, your blood pressure will go down too. So that the blood pressure needs to be regulated and monitored. I get it. I totally agree, and I adhere to it. So here I lost 30 pounds, 40 pounds, and I went back. Of course, I saw her in between, times, and my blood pressure was normal. And I said, "Oh, maybe you can cut the dosage. Do I still have to take the blood pressure?" And she said, "Yes, you do." And blah 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 blah. So I went to see her just before Christmas now, and my blood pressure was normal. And I'm only talking about what works for me. I'm not giving any medical advice. I want to make that very clear. But she always trying to sell me medication. I'm telling you, always. So I always wondered why elderly people go to the doctor so many times? Why? Again, I learned that some people have chronic pains. They need to be monitored. I learned a lot. Because you don't get to talk. I don't get to talk to people, and I don't ask them about medical conditions. So how would I know unless I read something? So, so I had no firsthand knowledge about why some people, why they're going to the doctor m more often than others. That's what I want to say with that. And for me, I only go to the doctor when I have pains, when I'm in pain, when there's something not right. So uh, I try not to see them during the year. That tells you, what type of a patient I am, because it scares me. Maybe they'll find something, which is so stupid to think that way. But look, what can I tell you? We're not perfect. But we can be busy. Getting back to the topic, we can be busy all day long. I can be busy all day long with social media, all day long. Do you think that would satisfy me waiting for hearts or waiting for acknowledgement when somebody sends you a thumb up or down or whatever? Absolutely not. So I would find that exciting for a while when you want to build your base, your followers, and everything. I've done that too, where you post every day and you look for followers, and that was very exciting, to have 20,000 followers and this and that, and that's a lot of work. So, but I would not be mentally and emotionally satisfied if I was just busy. So, busy visiting somebody, or busy, just no. What is the purpose? Why the heck am I getting out of bed in the morning? What do I have to do? What do I have to accomplish? Um, this this program, the Rare Breed, came all about before the holidays, because I was talking to a club of women online. They were over 70 and they talked about their life. And I said, "Oh," some of them said, "I don't need any advice." Not that I was giving them advice. They were just freely commenting. We don't need to be told how we should age. And I said to myself, oh, God forbid, I don't want to tell you how to, but it gave me a clue how a lot of people think. And they think they know it all. And they said, oh, I used to be on a motorcycle and we used to go, and they posted pictures across country on a motorbike and this, that, and the other. And today we do this, this, this. It wasn't on a motorbike, but they were still active. So then I got in touch with was also a video that was a TV show, a German TV show, and I found this was about a gentleman that started a cheese shop about 15 years ago in a small town in Germany, and of course it's in the wine region, and of course the TV people gave it the heading because they have their own topics that they're going for. It was, oh, he's now 77 and he's still working. And I said, what? So I looked at the video over and over again, and I contacted him and I asked him if he would be interested in giving an interview with us, being on our program. He said, absolutely. So I'll be talking to him, next Tuesday. So it's all about that. When he was 63 years old, his Social Security wasn't quite enough, to support his life um, way of living. And he started a cheese shop because his family had a fine cheese shop. So, and he was very smart. The environment, a lot of tourists there, this, that, and the other. So it was perfect. I can't wait for him to be on the show. So that television journalist, of course, they used it for their own topics, what they were trying to cover. About, oh, here's a person that doesn't have enough Social Security, and here's the thing. People, of course, commented on, and there was one woman said, "Oh, I would know what to do with my free time when I'm retired. I travel, I go to the theater when it's half price for the seniors. I do this, I do that." And I answered her, "Well, that's different. That's congratulations that you're doing that. I'm very happy for you. But you're filling time versus having a task, having a purpose. But you're a very creative person because you make do with little monies." It's amazing. And one person said, "Oh, poor Germany, if your Social Security is not enough to retire on." Are you kidding me? This all prompted me to put this show together that gives me clarity as well. So, again, a task connects you to the world. And I want to be, for myself, I want to be with the rare breed. I want to do things that nobody else does at at age. And there's so many people older than me that do a lot more than me. They go skydiving. I'm not going skydiving. Underwater diving. They fly planes. They do all kinds of things. So those are the people I want to find because that's how I want to be. I already am, and I still want to grow. That's what I'm saying. Doesn't mean I'm going to jump out of a plane or skydiving. You know what I wanted to say. So I don't want to die. If you don't have a purpose, you die. The lights go off. The lights, you don't have any lights on. That's it. So if you don't need a task, I'm fine being busy. That's what you say. That's okay. I'm not trying to change your mind. So I need what I need, and that's all okay. Everybody has to ask themselves. So something that makes me feel part of something bigger than myself. That's where I need to belong. Tasks don't retire. They may change shape. They may slow down, but they don't disappear just because we stop working. So I look at my work because I have deadlines, everything. I love it. I thrive on it. That's where I place myself, not above anyone, just somewhere specific. And once you feel the difference, it's hard to go back. No. When you slow me down all the way, slow me down, like the holidays now. I had a full program planned for me. And you know what? I did not do the full program. I watched television shows, I watched movies, and I enjoyed it. I cried. I watched wonderful Christmas movies. I played with my cat. I cooked. I loved it. But then I know when I need to go back to what I need to do. I know the difference. I feel the difference. And that's where I want to belong. So, and this leads to the next part, how I stay connected instead of watching life from the outside. Let me go for a quick break and we'll be right back. Staying connected, not just watching life. As people get older, many slowly step out of life and begin to watch it from the outside. They follow what others are doing, read about what's happening, and talk about the world that they are no longer really part of. I'm not judging that, but for me, watching life instead of participating makes me feel old very quickly. I stay mentally and emotionally alive by staying connected to people, ideas, conversations, and what is happening now. In very short, I am things, situations, shows, programs happening, execution. So I constantly think about, even when I slow down and watch my movies and watch my shows, I was thinking in between about ideas and what stimulates me and what could I, uh, what, how can I connect with this thought and that thought. So I was working. It's not that there was nobody home upstairs. No, no. That means I do things many people my age would not choose to do, not to prove anything or to stay young, but because participation keeps me awake. Yeah. If I didn't have any more things to think about and how to put it together, the strategy and execute it, go out and execute it, I don't think I would do very well. My health would decline rapidly. Staying connected doesn't mean doing more or being busy all the time. It means staying engaged. When people disconnect, the world gets smaller. When they stay connected, the world continues to respond to them. That is how I stay relevant, not to trends or society, but to myself. For me, aging well is not about slowing down or speeding up. It's about not stepping out of life too early. And I'm in my production studio right now. My cat is irritating, but I was just saying before my cat interrupted. Um, we all need to stay relevant to ourselves. If we feel we're no longer relevant to ourselves, we're not relevant to anybody else. And that feeling I never want to feel. And this is why I respect health very, very much, because I can really understand that people that don't have good health or in chronic pain all the time, it's a constant cycle, especially with chronic pain, where you feel good for maybe a few hours and then the pains kick in again. So you're sitting there in anticipation. You look, I totally understand that. And I don't wish that on anybody. Um, Pain is something terrible. And meaning I'm going through it. And I'm in constant dialogue with myself. Oh, it will go away. Let's see how long it lasts. Let me put some heat on it. Let me do this and let me do that. That takes away from my creativity. And I don't feel like being creative. So please, I understand how it feels and what we feel like when we go through this. But you know what I want to do? I want to talk a little bit about what they told us. I don't know who they are, but for decades, what we were told about retirement. People were given a very clear message about life and aging. Work first, live later. The idea was simple. You worked hard when you're young, you sacrifice, you push through, you delay what you really want. And then one day you retire. You know, the time really goes fast. And that's when life is supposed to begin. We were told, you've earned it. Now it's your time. Now you can finally relax. No more responsibility. Retirement was sold as freedom, as reward, as relief, as the finish line, as a finish line. For a long time, the story worked when pensions were strong and people didn't live as long. But something changed. People began living longer. Pensions got smaller. Health became unpredictable. And many people discovered something no one talked about. Retirement gives you time. It does not automatically give you meaning. Work had provided structure. Work had provided direction. Work had provided a feeling of being needed. That's right. When that stopped, many people felt lost, not because they were weak, but because no one prepared them for it. So people filled their days. They stayed busy. They found things to do. That helped. But for many, something was still missing because free time is not the same as purpose. We were told that life begins at retirement. What we were not told is that meaning doesn't arrive on its own. Meaning needs direction at every age. And I'm going for a break and I'll be back. We're back from our break. You're tuned into Life Talk with Mariette. I'm your host, Mariette Kammer. And before the break, I was talking about what we were told about retirement. And we heard the younger ones say, well, work by a balance, life work balance. So yes, the younger generation, they certainly will not wait till retirement and then enjoy themselves. And that's what they're talking about, the work balance. Okay, here's the scoop. They want to fall in love. They want a family. They want children. They want a career. They want a house. They want everything. I don't know how that is all possible because I certainly would have had no time to dedicate and focus toward my career for years now, for straight almost 30 years. I've been self-employed for 42 years, and really have an earning potential over six figures. So that would have not been possible, let me tell you, if I had had a child, a husband, other responsibilities other than just concentrating on myself. I don't know how they do it, but I'm telling you right now, there's a difference. I have people in my circle. The woman makes the most money. He makes quite less. But in order for her to continue what she's doing, and she's an employee, she's not on commission or so, but she's at this in this career for a long time, for over 35 years. But he had her back. He took care of the kids because his shift was different. He also, is in the medical profession, but his shift, his time was different from hers. So they were really able to complement both. He was able to take care of the household, most of it, of course, with nannies as well. But he was doing a lot for years till the kids really grew up. I just don't know, my dear friends, how that is all possible, how you have the stamina and the focus, the work-life balance, and make the most of it. And especially if you're being paid on commission, if you're self-employed, if you have a store, if you have a restaurant, you need to be there all the time. You need to make changes. You need to watch the growth. Your mind is occupied 24/7. My mind is occupied 24/7. When I come home, I can't think about, oh, what am I going to cook for supper so he can eat or the child can eat? You can't do that. Some people do it. Please come forward and I'd like to have a discussion with you. So I see it with this couple that I'm talking about. Let's say couple A. They've done very well between the two of them because they were organized and everybody, each person knew their part. And then, of course, they have animals in the house too. They have several cats, dogs. They all go to the spa and everything is taken care of and all of this. And he managed all of this. You have to have a person that really focuses on everything. Now, who stays home, the man or the woman? It's not, in this case, it wasn't that he stayed home. He just had different work hours and different shifts where he could get a 40-hour shift in 3 days, just about. That's what I'm talking about. And the rest of the time, it left it open to handle the bulk buy-in, taking the animals to the vet or to the spa, meaning getting their nails clipped and manicured and everything. That's what I'm saying when I say the spa. So, and taking the kids to lessons to the this and that and the other. Oh my God. And look, that person grew into that role. To me, that's a saint. So anything goes wrong, who gets called? Well, dad gets called because he handles everything, you know? So I never experienced that. I'm everything in one person. And when things don't go the right way, well, who do I call? Well, I call myself to get it done. So I haven't talked to enough people in my lifetime to really understand, to get it firsthand that when you divide chores and how that works. It's clear to me. I understand it. She works, he stays home with the kids, brings up the kids, does everything. I get it. So, um, that's not quite what I'm talking about, where they want to do it all in one. What are you, super person here? If you have something that I don't know, please contact me. It's impossible. For about 35 years now, I have dedicated my life to my work. And I have really, really grown a lot. But that's all I focus in on. My family is, they're adults. I only have one daughter. The grandchildren they're adults. My focus is on my career, on my business. And as you know, before you know, 35 years go by. And of course, you age. And then I talk to other people my age group and just what they're talking about or what they're focusing in on. I said, "Oh my God, um, I don't want to have anything to do with that." So that's why I came up with the rare breed, because I do have people in my professional environment that are absolutely incredible. 79 years old, worldwide travel, writes books, is an opera singer, is a retired school principal, speaks 6 languages. Wolf Ring, that's his name. I'll be speaking with him on Sunday. And there are people out there, because when other people say, no, we have enough, that's all. Look, Remember the feeling when we were in school in class and there were some people that, some students, they were ahead of everybody. They always got things right away. They understood everything right away. I never understood a thing. And they were always in by, they knew it all, or it seemed at least that way. I never got it, what they were all talking about. I couldn't comprehend that quickly. And then I didn't want to ask any questions. So I missed out on the boat a lot of times. That's what I was saying. I laugh about it today. And I picked up quite a bit in my life. I was just um, a slow developer. I developed really in my 30s, not before that. Before that, my focus was here, there, everywhere. And don't keep me too long with a focus, if you know what I'm saying. And I was interested in silly stuff was part of life, dating, dancing, going out all the time, thinking you were in, I don't have to apologize. That's just the way it is. But wouldn't you look, now we're 70, we're 75, we're 80, we're over 80. We're still in sound mind. We're still full of energy, or at least when we have a purpose, it will put the lights back on. My God, don't you want to belong and not be like the regular, just let life happen and then you die? I don't want that. I don't want that for myself. So, but I want you to know, however you feel comfortable with your life, your thinking, your situation, that is fine. Because a light bulb went on too when I read that some of the women said, oh, we don't need to be told how to age or this, that. That means, they're wrong with that, because I learned quite a bit through the professionals that were on my program. When we're a little older, our exercises are different because depending on our body, a lot of things change. So we need to know about these changes. We can't just go as a 75, 80-year-old to a local fitness center and say, okay, let's build my muscles. No. A lot of things change. So I wouldn't be that snobbish to say, oh, I don't need anybody to tell me how to age. From a physical standpoint, health point, you better get all the information you can get. So, but I said, the light bulb went on, and I said to myself, I will not spend my time, my work, and putting shows together where it would not even be well received. If we're talking about aging, if we're talking about this, that, and the other. So that made me change things too. But the people that are a rare breed, that are still very, very committed to life, those are the ones that I want to talk to. And they appreciate it too. That doesn't mean you don't appreciate it. So again, if this helps, that is great. If it doesn't, there's nothing I can do about it. Let me go for one more break and we'll be right back. And we're back from our break. Thank you for tuning into LifeTalk with Mariette. I put together a few quotes. And before I leave you, I'd like to read a couple of them. The body slows down, but curiosity doesn't have to. Okay. All right. Watching life is not the same as living it. And I have to tell you, this quote really hit home. Watching life is not the same as living it. And just to give you, I never watch these Christmas movies during the year. These love movies and everything. I'm too busy, and it's just not. I'm not in the mood for any of that stuff. But at Christmas time, they got some really cute stories, movies. They're not too deep. That's fine. So, but they're nice, and it's all about love and connecting people and couples and everything. So, and when you see people connecting and falling in love, there is a difference when you watch these movies or when you live it. So when you jump back on the horse and say, okay, that last relationship didn't work out, I'm still going to try it. No, then you have a talk with yourself. No, but this, that, and the other. So that just came to mind when I saw that. I try to stay young. I try to stay engaged. I would probably phrase it a little differently because I don't get old. Maybe my body does, but I will always stay engaged as long as my health will allow it. I will always stay young. There's no discussion. There's no discussion about that. So, um, participation keeps me awake. Very, very important. I need to be part of something. I need to create that I'm part of something. It's the creation part that keeps me alive. And then the execution part. Is it working? Is it not working? What do I need to tweak? What do I need to change? Being relevant is very, very personal. And that's not public. So everybody wants to feel relevant. Everybody does. And you know how many people are being let go from their job and they have a very, very hard time finding that connection again. And some people, they start their own business, something they always wanted to do, and find new meanings and so forth, and some don't. But it's so true. I don't try to stay young. I try to stay engaged. Again, those are not my words. I would have formulated them a little differently. Let me tell you, just it's very easy. I just don't think about aging. I don't think about it. I don't acknowledge it. The only thing I acknowledge when my body speaks to me, then I acknowledge. So, and the rest, I just keep going, and it makes me happy. So, what I've learned, staying busy is not the same as having direction. Health matters, but it's not everything. And retirement gives time, but not automatically more. For me, staying alive inside comes from having a task and staying connected to life. That's my way of aging. Everyone else is free to choose their own. Yes, sirree, you're on your own. Till next time, I'm Mariette Cameron. Be well.